Hey y'all, I am knee deep in preservation mode because I'm just daily getting inundated with more fresh fruit from the garden. It's been very productive, not complaining, not one bit. But I'm getting ready to process some of these jalapenos. These are the pumpkin spice jalapenos. These are the lemon spice jalapenos. These are just some regular jalapenos in there. But I'm going to dice them up and flash freeze them and then store them in the freezer. Then when I have enough, I'll make a big batch of cowboy candy. I'm also thinking about dehydrating some of these, but we'll just see. I'm not sure I want to dehydrate jalapenos inside, and we're supposed to get rain today, so we'll see. I'm also have got another batch of cherry tomatoes I'm getting ready to slice up and put in the dehydrator. I just took these out and I'm letting them cool off a little bit. I'll add these to the rest of them that I've already done this year. And I will powder some of these and make a tomato powder, which makes a quick tomato paste. We'll say some of them is just a quick little snack. We'll store some in olive oil and take those from there. So that's another way I'm preserving my cherry tomatoes. These tomatoes over here, I'm just waiting to get ripe. And I will either freeze them or go ahead and turn these into salsa. And I've got a bunch more over here on my table I'll show you. These will also get turned into sauce as well. I still got some long noodles I need to chop up and not freeze dry, put in the freezer. Got a couple squash I need to do something with. Waiting on this bell pepper to turn a little bit more before I chop it up and flash freeze it. Saving my seeds. More seeds. Saving this one for seeds. I've just got stuff everywhere. Chicken bowl. I've got to get out here and pick green beans, but I'm just overloaded in abundance right now. Again, I'm definitely not complaining. I've got some ground cherries down here I'm going to save the seeds from as well. So trying to stay busy around here. Also, my okra is finally starting to put on some little pods. I'll go out here and I may have enough today to make 1 jar of pickled okra. Got a spaghetti squash. The whole plant died. A vine borer got it, so I really don't know that this one is completely as ripe as it should. I mean, the stem is brown, but that's because the plant died. So we'll just have to see when I cut that one open. We'll probably go ahead and have it here in the next week or so. I still need to make some salsa verde. I think I've got a few more tomatillas out there I can go pick today, and I'll grab those when I grab some more basil to reload my dehydrator trays with. And that's all the dehydrated cherry tomatoes that I've sliced. It's on about half of a 5-gallon bag. Now, to fill it, it was about 6 of these baskets full, so it really does shrink them down quite a bit. But it'll last longer. My freezer's full, so I had to do something with. Now, I've literally had this Vidalia Chalk Wizard for 10 or 15 years. I mean, it's literally vegetable stained because of how much I've used it over the years. And the blades are starting to get dull, so I need to start looking at a new one. But I can't tell you the thousands and thousands of vegetables I've chopped in this thing. Now, I'll chop all the ones that have already turned, like all these yellows and oranges and some of the red ones, and a couple of the green ones. I'll get these chopped up and put them on my cookie sheet and throw them in the freezer, and then once they're frozen, I'll throw them in a bag to be able to pull them out and add to recipes. It just makes it quick and easy, especially when you're making large batches of like cowboy candy or pineapple jalapeno jam, those types of things. You can just measure out what you need. So it makes it really handy. Okay, so I've got all the peppers washed and I sorted out the ones I'm going to chop today. These will be the ones I end up getting chopped tomorrow because they'll keep turning. So I'm just going to chop them up with my chopper and get them on my tray and then get them in the freezer. I also use this time that I'll trim off any of these little imperfections. Now, while they won't hurt you, they just don't look pretty in a jar when you go to can them. So I'll trim those up. And I also look, sometimes just once in a blue moon, which I haven't found one yet, you'll get one that's moldy on the inside, and I don't use those either. So just keep your eyes open. The first year I ever did this, I took the time to de-seed every one of them and my hands literally hurt. Even using gloves hurt for days, so I don't even mess with that now. I just chop the top off and then put them in my chopper over here, and I gotta do this again. Slam it down, and then when I get it full, I'll dump it. And now that I've got all these ones that I'm chopping today done, I'm just going to spread them out on my cookie sheet here and try to get it in as single or thin of a layer as I can. And that way when they freeze, they don't all clump together. I'll let these freeze probably for 4 or 5 hours. And then I'll put them in transfer them to my Ziploc bag where I store them until I go to start making my cowboy candy or pineapple pepper jam or fiesta jam or whatever it is that I'm doing. Now the next thing I'm getting ready for the freezer are some Chinese noodle beans. And these are some I've picked yesterday that I've washed, and I'm going to get them trimmed up and cut into the pieces we like and vacuum seal them. And just to kind of show you about the noodle beans, we actually prefer them when they're about this size or like this right here. When they start getting big like this, they're just not as good. They're a little more tough, and there's these hollow spots in between. You can feel the seeds in there. No, we'll still eat that one, but it's just preferable if you get them before you start seeing the little seed pods in there. That's our preference. And what I do is I grab 5 or 6, and I line up all the ends the best I can, and I will cut these off. Just right down here to get rid of those ends. One-handed. And then I bring them up and I cut them about 3 or 4 inches. And I'll probably get 2 bags out of these, and we use these to stir fry in the winter months. We just pull them out, so I don't blanch them. I just freeze them as they are in a Ziploc or in a freezer bag, or in a, what do you call it? Vac seal bag. And that's how many I got from about 12 long noodle beans. And there we go, 2 bags for stir fry of noodle beans. Alright, so my peppers have been freezing for about an hour and a half, and they're mostly frozen, and I just kind of break up the chunks. But then I use the parchment paper, and I kind of make it into a burrito. And then I'll use both hands and pick it up and put one end in my bag and dump them in my bag. I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Alright, I've got them all in my bag. My other gallon was full, so I'm working on my second gallon of diced jalapenos for cowboy candy. That'll make some. And then I get them up here in the freezer with the rest of them, and then tomorrow I'll rinse and repeat and do the same thing. If you've not tried Sun Gold cherry tomatoes, what are you waiting for?